Guess what? It's time again for the May Wild West Show, the podcast where we tell the hedonistic adventures of myself and my husband in the modern American Wild West, where outdoor sex results in frostbite at least 6 months out of the year. The hubby, Mr. West, and I swing, sometimes hot wife, but mostly just enjoy spending time with our friends and having kinky sex. Our motto is, we'll try anything once for science. If you're looking for completely inappropriate stories and adult content, you've come to the right place, because this podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and shouldn't be considered professional, medical, or sometimes good advice. The topics we talk about will be spicy, sexy, and not safe for work, kids, or your local PTA Karen. Now let's full send into today's episode. Guess what I did? Invited one of the spiciest hot wives that I know and a friend of mine onto the podcast today to talk about how she hot wives. I got lucky a few weeks ago and ended up on Kit Kat and Curvy's podcast called the Hot Wife Chat. And I had so much fun, I just had to invite them back. So today we have Kit Kat. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you today?
I am good. It's snowing outside, so I'm glad that I'm not outside.
Oh, gross. We actually have sort of a cloudy day, but it has been nice the last 2 or 3 days. So, which is unusual because we're in Canada. We should be getting the snow, not you. Oh, I
Yeah,
suppose you're, yeah.
it was 70 on Monday, and today we have snow.
Don't you hate that? Like one day you wear flip-flops and then the next day you got to wear your boots again. Like that sucks.
Right? Just pick. I don't
Yeah,
care if
yeah.
it is 10 degrees out or it is 70 degrees out. I just don't like the going back and forth.
Absolutely. I agree completely. You know what? The less clothes is better, so we need hot weather.
There you go. Exactly. As I was
Yeah.
I was posting on Reddit today, and I had a picture of me giving a friend of ours a blowjob outside the car, and I said something to the effect of "need warm weather so we can get into trouble some more." And somebody else was like, "Oh, well, you could do it now." And I'm like, "I'm not getting half naked in the snow. Thanks for asking."
No. Oh, we've done that before though. Like we've stopped on the side of the road and it's like really like below, well, we're in Canada here, so below like 30 degrees, and we're just sitting there like, okay, hurry up, come, like, get it done. But I did a photo shoot myself on a personal thing outside about 2 months ago in the snow, laid there and everything. And for some reason I wasn't cold until it was all done. Then I was like, holy fuck, I'm really cold now. So yeah,
Probably the adrenaline and,
it could be the
feeling
excitement, the
sexy. So
yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought about it
So
too, but I figured doing it in my front yard is probably a bad idea. And, I mean,
We,
I,
yeah, we get too many neighbors for that. So we'd had to go like a little bit in the woods and find a little spot. So it was all good. It was quick
yeah,
though.
we have to do it,
Yeah.
like after 10 o'clock because everybody who lives on our street is like 70 plus and go to bed early. So I could
Oh,
do it
oh,
after
that's good.
dark.
Run around in the backyard. Just go naked.
I've done it. I mean, I even have pictures.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I don't usually like we live right in the city, so it's a little bit difficult, even like with your windows open. Sometimes I can see the guy across the street looking, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, he just got a good view, so all good.
Help out with the exhibitionist kink a little bit,
Absolutely, right? Make a couple of guys happy or a couple of girls happy. Who knows?
right?
Right. I like it.
So I thought we'd start off today and I would just kind of do some basic questions so that the listeners can kind of have a basic idea of who you are and what you're into. So I figured just starting off because it's actually you came up with your sexual orientation that you call yourself the bi situational. I stole that and started using it.
No, it's true. So I would just kind of a little brief. I've been in lifestyle for over 12 years, I should say. My hubby and I first started, I was curious about women. So I met up with a woman, talked, so on and so forth. And next thing you know, we kind of got into playing, which I actually really enjoy because it was something new, something different. And then the second time around, we kind of did that threesome with her, my hubby, and myself. and then it just explored to with other couples, and then sometimes it was just me and a guy sort of in the same house with hubby there. And then the past probably year and a half, I've done more of the hot wife, which is not all the time because it's hard with scheduling with me and the other person and so on. But that's been exciting. That's been fun. But we still also do the swinging part of things. So hubby and I will go to lifestyle parties and events, and we play with each other, or well, not with each other. We always play with each other, but with other couples or singles or whatnot. So the lifestyle for us, it's kind of an open book. Like we kind of just go with the flow, like, oh, this situation, yeah, I'll do this, and let's do this situation, and let's do that situation. So that's kind of how I'm in at this point in time in my life.
I find that the whole concept of going out on dates with other single guys and stuff kind of fascinating and kind of like, I guess for me, it kind of blows my mind a little bit because
Mm.
we are so much like part of it for us is doing it together. But also, aren't you ever nervous to go meet individual single guys? Or do you feel like you
Um,
mean do you have a vetting process that you use so that you don't
I
end up sold
do.
into sex slavery?
Well, don't scare me that way. I in all honesty, a lot of the times we more or less will, first of all, it's all chat. We'll chat a little bit. I have my certain questions that I ask them. And then from there, if they're kind of like, okay, they pass that first test, then I'll ask them for a face pick. If they don't give me a face pick, fuck you, move on, and that's it, sort of thing. If they show me a face pick and say, that looks good, then hubby and I will actually go for a drink with this gentleman. Um,
Oh, good
now
idea. That makes
we do.
sense.
Well, duh.
We did every once in a while like do the coffee thing, but the coffee you can't really get to. I don't know. It's very serious when you go to the coffee. So then we kind of started doing more of the let's go for a little drink. And you know what? At first it was sort of like, well, what if they don't show? Then it's like, well, you know what? It's their loss. If they don't show, then hubby and I will still do our date night. So it's kind of like we don't really. It's shitty because if they don't show up, and there's unfortunately a lot of them that don't show, then we go from there. Now, that being said, a lot of my partners that I've gone on my own, I had met them and played with them before with hubby around, or even him being, the third wheel sort of thing. So I don't just do strangers. I don't just, somebody say, hey, let's meet up at such and such park. I don't do that. I usually go through a little process on that note.
Ah, yeah, I never even thought
Yeah.
about the whole going out for drinks with your husband and stuff. That makes a whole lot more sense. I was just always like,
Yeah.
they just go m meet guys?
No.
Like,
I mean, there is some women who will do that. I mean, to each their own. Everybody that has their own little process of doing things.
oh yeah.
Um, but for me, it's more or less, I don't necessarily need to know like his whole life and family and all that. I just kind of need to know, okay, where is he from? What does he do? So on and so forth. And if it does get weird, I have a really good sense of, okay, you know what, this is not working. Let's get out of here pretty quickly. So, and that's only
Yeah.
really happened to me once there that I didn't feel comfortable with the situation. And I've grown a lot too. Like I would say probably 5, 6 years ago, before I would be like, oh, just bite the bullet, Kath, and just do it and do that. But now it's like, you know what, fuck you. Like I know what I want, when I want it, how I want it, so I can be very particular. So yeah, it's good. It's
That's
fun. It's fun though.
that's one of the things that I've loved in the lifestyle is growing my confidence. And I feel like, at least for
Yes.
me as a woman in this part
Right.
of the country, rural America, the idea of a woman having confidence and like owning her own sexuality and being like,
Mm,
screw you, I won't know what I want
it's
is
true. 100%.
I think it's great. I mean, I think that women have a tendency to let people bully them around, and it's important for us to be able to have our own voice. So I think that's
Absolutely.
great.
One of the conversations that we had, Kirby and I, that we do ours on X usually, we've talked about this kind of in the past, probably about 4 or 5 months ago, that her confidence as well as my confidence from doing lifestyle and the hot wifing has like drastically increased. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, I don't know, other men are seeing you in a different way. It's not just your hubby saying, "Oh, babe, you look beautiful today." Yeah, okay, whatever, sort of thing. When somebody else, three or four other men say that, or even women, "You're beautiful." For some reason, it just, boosts your confidence even more and more. So, yeah. So I don't know, the hot wife. And again, it's not for everyone. Some men don't want it for their wives because they're jealous or whatnot. I mean, that's definitely not a go. Now, something you mentioned at the beginning, you've talked about this on our podcast, you and your hubby like to go and you like to play. I love that situation. Like if we go at a party, let's say, and there's, I don't know, four or five of us in one room, like, and I'm with a guy and he's with a girl, like we're always constantly eyeing ourselves. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's doing that to him. Like, I love that. That fucking turns me on. And he'll kind of do the same thing. He'll look at me and he's like, thumbs up or like, something of that sort. So I do like that aspect as well with the lifestyle. So
I
that's
agree.
probably, yeah,
I love
yeah.
like a friend of mine and I we stood back and like watched. I mean, it looked like we were like the audience or something. And I'm like, "Isn't he good at this?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, no, that is so she's all so hot." Like that's just, it looked like a couple of guys catcalling them and stuff. It was kind of funny. But
You
yeah,
come here.
right? They're like, "Ah, as soon as you're done with that."
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. I mean, the whole lifestyle is so it's like it's so big because we have, friends of ours, really great friends of ours. They don't play at all with it like as a couple. He goes on his own, she goes on her own, and that's what they enjoy. And then they come back home and they just do their thing. So, everybody has their different ways of doing the lifestyle, I guess. So it's whatever at the end of the day pleases you and your partner. So he's gone to play with other women on his own and he's come back and I look at him and I said, I'll be 100% honest. I'm not jealous. I don't care if you went, but it really didn't do much for me that I know that you went out and slept with another woman. And he sort of turns around and he'll say, me either. So he really doesn't actually go at all or pretty much not at all with other women. He'll go like if we go to a house party and I'm in one room and he's another room, like he'll play, but he'll stop and he'll come and watch me. That's kind of how our relationship is, sort of thing. So yeah, it's all fun, 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 fun.
And it's interesting how your dynamic and I guess our dynamic evolves as you go through it because you're like you said, it's so large and there's so many
Yeah.
opportunities. And if you get on, say, these Facebook groups or different groups where they're talking about,
Uh-huh.
especially for newbies, they're like, "Well, are we
Yes.
allowed to do that? Can you do that? Is that
Yeah.
okay?" And you're like, "No, really, like everything's okay, just as long as
It's
it's
true.
consensual."
Right. And I don't know if you did, May, like at the beginning of us starting the whole lifestyle, we had rules. Like, okay,
Oh,
this is
so
this,
many
and
rules.
we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna kiss, we're not gonna do no, you can't go any further. Like if you go to the bathroom and pee, you have to stop everything. Like it's like, okay, maybe not. And then, as you go through the years and the years, next thing you know, it's like, whatever, just do everything. Just do it all, sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
I agree. We had a friend of ours that we've known in the lifestyle for since pretty much since we started almost, came over and visited, and he jokes that he's the only person who breaks all the rules. Like we don't invite people to our house, and he gets to come to our house. He knows my
uh,
son. Um, and one of those things was our rules was is like, we don't play alone. Well, when
mm,
he was here visiting, he was only here for like 3 4 hours, and the hubby had some business phone calls, and so the hub's on the phone trying to talk business, and I'm over there giving the guy a blowjob, and we're playing, and he's trying really hard not to be distracted on his business phone calls, but we're screwing with him. It's something that never would have happened when we first started because first of all,
no,
I'd been so concerned that he would be, like that would somehow hurt his feelings because I didn't wait
yeah,
around for him.
true. That's true. And I mean, that's kind of how, how it kind of go like, because you gotta test the waters. Yes, we've talked about this before about taking one for the team and all that. I don't necessarily see, uh, you know, sometimes might not. How would I explain this? You might think you're taking one for the team, but sometimes it's just exploring more of it. But then at the end of it, you're like, no, really, I don't like that. I don't like that situation. we talk about it all the time. I mean, I'm sure you and your hubby, like, you talk about every situation, like,
Oh
how'd she
yeah.
feel? How'd he feel? Like, well, how's that? Like, blah, 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 so on and so forth. That was a boring couple or something of that sort. So we
Right.
chat about everything.
Well, we
So
have an
yeah,
hour and a half to 6 hour drive home from any place that we usually play. So yeah, we break that stuff down like in minute micro detail afterwards.
absolutely. Yeah.
And usually if it's the hour and a half, we barely make it home. But if it's the 6 hour drive home, like the next day, there's, some roadhead and some playing around
A
in the
little bit
car
of
just
everything.
because, you know, y- it's sexy. That's why you do it. I
It's
mean,
true. They say normally the more adventurous, the more sexual you are, the better your sex life will be.
what's like one of your pet peeves in the lifestyle?
Pet peeve in the lifestyle. People that don't dress for the occasion. So like I find like we go to a lot of lifestyle parties and sometimes people will just show up in like, I don't know, an old rugged sweatpants and a shirt. I go and I doll right up. I love that. Like I doll that's what I do, sort of thing. If I want somebody to fuck me, I want to look good too, right? And smell good and so on and so forth. That would definitely be a pet peeve of mine. Pet peeve of mine. Kissing. I love, 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 love kissing. But I find sometimes the men, especially the women, are great kissers. Oh my God, they're soft, they're gentle. Men, they just go overboard sometimes. It's like, okay, let me kiss you and I'll show you how it's done, sort of thing. So that's one of my pet peeves. I hate men that they'll take their tongue and they'll put like down your throat and you're kind of like half gagging. So
Kiss me.
Oh,
that's probably
one of our rules to start off was no kissing. And I mean, partially
that's too, yeah.
partially it's because that's a romance thing and I'm not in the lifestyle for romance. I'm in the lifestyle because I want to fuck.
True.
And I mean, I'm not so much into like missionary. I don't want to look deep into your eyes and have like a moment. I'm gonna be looking deep into my husband's eyes across the room and having a moment there while you're fucking me. That's
You're
my
looking at
moment.
him like, oh my God, this is a nice cock, and you're looking at your
Right? I kissed a
exactly
guy one
right.
time. I kissed my husband one time in the middle of like riding some guy's dick, and I was like, I just love you. I swear to God, the guy was just like, what the fuck?
We do that a lot too. Like I'll be fucking someone and we make right out, like him and I. Now that being said, I don't see it like, I'm a little different than you. Like I don't necessarily see kissing another man or woman romantic in certain situations. I find it just more erotic. There's a difference between when you kiss your husband and when you kiss another person. I don't know. For me, that's the way that I see it. Now, that being said, if I'm in the corner and I'm just passionately kissing on and on and on with a guy, then that to me is not really, it's not acceptable. It would be just more or less you're fucking somebody, you're kissing, you're making out, then you're going back, you're fucking, you're kind of so like quickie, quickie, nothing like go like, when we were teenagers, we'd go in the corner and we just, make out with a guy sort of thing. I don't know if you did that,
Right.
but
Well, I did change the rules a little bit, and now I will kiss girls. Girls are
I
good
just
kissers.
wish they are. I've always said the lifestyle is always about the woman. You follow the woman's lead no matter what. And I still believe in that. I mean, it's been 12 years and we still do that kind of follow the woman kind of thing. If it's
Well,
not right, it's not right.
my husband said one time somebody because we he doesn't pick out guys for me. That's not like our dynamic. And his big reason is he's like, well, you're the one gonna be fucking them, so it makes more difference whether you like them or not. And I will agree with you. Guys need to they and even he says it. He's like, read the room.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Like just
Exactly.
yeah, read the room. She obviously
So
either she
you
likes it or doesn't, and it's pretty obvious.
exactly move on from it, sort of thing. So
Right.
but those would be probably my two pet peeves. Like look the part, smell the part. Like a man that smells good is a fucking turn on. Like I don't care what anybody says.
I
So when you
agree.
go in there and you're already, or a woman, even a woman, like, she smells good. It's like, oh my God, like, or she's soft or, all that sort of thing. Just take care of yourself. Like that's, I don't know. That's kind of my thing. We always prep, like whenever we know that we're going out with on a date, even sometimes if it's just, with another couple and we're thinking, hey, it's only going to be for drinks, unless it's really determined that it's only for drinks, but you always prepare for the occasion. So that's my advice for anybody that starts or goes into the lifestyle. Like, be prepared, look sexy, take the time to look good. So
Just because you're
yeah,
getting drinks doesn't mean that you should wear your underwear that have holes in them, because
exactly, right?
somebody could find out. And your
Yeah.
mother would not
Well,
be impressed. At least my mother would.
well, I don't usually wear panties, so for me, it's okay then.
Yeah, they have
I'm a
lots of
commando kind of
holes.
girl. They do have lots of holes, all available, free access, sort of thing.
From what I remember, people can buy them if they want to also. So you have to go
They
check out
do, yeah.
Kit Kat's extra slash Twitter, whatever they're calling it these days. Check out her page because she's got some very hot content, and she also, like I said, she can, you know, buy some of her panties and lots of good
Yes.
stuff. So
I sold stockings, panties, everything, sort of thing. I don't sell too many of my bra sets because those are just something, I don't really take the time to go buy. So I try not to sell the set ones, but yeah, it's all for fun.
So what's your current favorite kink? Like what are you into right now? Because I mean, at least for me, mine kind of change a little bit as we go through and you explore new things.
My favorite kink is actually going back to just playing with um with my hubby in the room. I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
more my kink. Yeah. Like going back, because I mean, we started off doing threesomes and we started off with couples, and then we kind of, did a few other little things here and there. But it always goes back to that. I love that moment that, again, him fucking another woman, me fucking another man, and we kind of see each other. And I know we've talked about this, you and I think Kirby, about finding another couple, that dynamic, because everybody's got to kind of like each other, right? So the
Right.
threesomes are fun too, but parties that we get to go to, there you can usually have, two or three couples go in one room and then, switch things around, sort of thing. So I really do like that dynamic. I guess it would sort of be like a small orgy, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I
I
think an
can't imagine
orgy,
why anybody would say no to that.
right? It's all
I
fun.
wouldn't.
And yeah. And also too, like it's not just about like seeing your hubby, you're like seeing another girl that's like, oh my gosh, she's fucking sexy, and I don't know, two guys going on her and all that. Like the whole scene is fun and exciting. So, but that would be probably my newest kink, I think, or re-new kink, I guess. I don't know how do you say that, but yeah. Dude, what's your kink? Is kind of being
Right
with hubby and
now,
another.
the biggest one is kind of like exhibitionist, sort of public, don't get arrested by the cops, kind of a
The
kinky
dogging.
play. I and that's I guess part of what I was saying about my confidence. I can tell you that 5 years ago, the idea of getting naked in front of, like, because we went to the Mont Chalet and everybody swims nude there. And if you
Mhm.
don't swim nude, you're kind of the odd one out. I mean,
You're
nobody's
prude.
going to like burn you at the stake for being a not whore, but
No, but they may not approach you.
well, as somebody else said, when the first time we went there, I started off with my bottoms on, and the later kind of moved to completely naked. And one of the girls we met said, "Well, when we first saw you and you guys had your bottoms on and stuff, we were like, oh, boring." But luckily, you got naked, and then we
You
met.
got naked. It's true. We do pool parties. There's friends of ours that have two or three pool parties in the summertime, and usually my first pool party for the first couple of hours, I do start with my panties on or bathing suit bottoms, and hubby's always like, "Fucking take those off, take those off." I'm like, "I will take them off when I'm ready," and then eventually they do come off. So yeah, last
Go
year
ahead.
I didn't even have them. I don't think I wore them at all. It was
Well,
fun. It was good.
the confidence that women get from the lifestyle is so amazing.
I agree. I agree. I think too is that, like you get to the point, especially as you get a little bit older, but you go in the lifestyle and you see men and women do their thing, they're naked, they're walking around and they don't give a fuck about anything. And it's like, you know what? Why do I have to give a fuck about anything? Just have fun. And you know what? If that guy's not attracted to me, who cares? I'll go to the next one or that girl or whatever. Like not everybody's your cup of tea, right? And there's some guys that are like, oh my fucking God, I want you. And there's some guys that are like, yeah, you're nice, but kind of move on. So that's where, the lifestyle you can pick and choose. And nobody should be offended because not everybody clicks, right? Not everybody has
Right?
that
Sometimes you're just
attraction right
like
away.
not their thing, or sometimes they're just not your
Absolutely.
thing. And
Yeah.
and people who get upset about that,
Mm,
you have to want to get naked with somebody and rub bodies. And if you're not attracted to
exactly.
them, then you're not going to want
That's
to.
right. That's right. Yeah. And it's not just necessarily about like physical attraction either. Like if I go and talk to somebody and, they're bubbly and they're talking and all that, it's like, oh, I like this. I like this click. Or if you go to talk to another one, hey, how are you? How's the weather? Like, no, let's move on from this one sort of thing. So yeah.
So your guys' podcast, the Hot Wife Chat, is first of all is just absolutely hysterical, and secondly is super sexy with your guys' stories about what you guys have been up to, and you guys always seem to have lots of stories about what you've been up to.
No, we're little virgins. We don't really do that much. Come on.
Right? Yeah, I got that from the podcast. That was totally evident. So, how did you guys get started?
It literally happened within like a few minutes. So, I had set up through X probably maybe a week, and then I started talking to Curvy like quickly in a text, and I don't even know what we talked about at the beginning. And then within like 50 minutes, she says, "Do you want to do a podcast with me?" And I'm like, sure. And then next thing you know, we set things up, and we're on X. Then we did our first space, just literally winged it the whole time. We had a blast. We just have a really good connection, her and I. And it's just we gel well. We kind of complement each other and have fun with life and with the lifestyle and everything. So it's good. Absolutely.
One of the things I like about your guys' podcast is you do it live on X, so you have people talk and message in or ring in or whatever it is, and then they
Yep.
are allowed to ask you questions. And I think
Yes.
that's really great. You guys get some interesting questions.
We do have some. Some of them are a little bit weird. One started talking to me about going because I go to the gym. I'm a big gym person, and he started talking about what exercise, what's your favorite this, and it was like not erotic whatsoever. So eventually, like, okay, thank you, and then we kind of muted him out of there. But we do get a lot of really good questions. A lot of them are actually new people too that are starting in, or they want their wives to start or their husbands to start. So we try to give, not necessarily tell them what to do, but kind of give them some feedback. I mean, we've been in the lifestyle for 20 years, and I've been for 12 years, so we have a lot of experience there. So we try to give everybody, some a little bit of our input. And yes, we do give some great stories because we've had a lot of really good stories in our lives. So
Yes. Good
yeah.
and some funny ones and some ones that you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you."
Oh yeah, like some that we've done, hubby and I, and we almost like left the lifestyle sort of thing, that it was that bad. And some of them were so fucking spontaneous, trips to Mexico. I mean, I remember going to a club in Calgary in Alberta and in Edmonton, sorry. And we were just kind of bummed out. Guy had just was an idiot that we were supposed to meet up with. So we went to that club and we just started talking with him. And then next thing you know, he's like, "Do you want to go upstairs?" We're like, "Yep, big bang, thank you, ma'am." And don't fucking know their names, they don't know our names. And that was it. It was just all fun and games. So
That's
spontaneous.
awesome.
Yeah, I love spontaneous. Yeah.
So I have one last little silly question for you. I appreciate you coming on and all of the stories and the information you've given us so far, but I do have one silly question I want to ask you. Anybody in the world, if you could have a celebrity one night stand, who would you pick and why?
Matt Damon.
Oh, I don't even think we need to ask why.
Just I'm originally from Boston. He's from Boston. He's about my age. Always had a huge crush on him. Or Marky Mark. Those would
Oh
be the
God,
two
Mark Wahlberg
celebrities.
is mine. Oh,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
love
yeah,
him.
good. So, well, I have to tell you a quick little story of Marky Mark. So I was a medical dispatcher for almost 10 years, and I was dispatching. This was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're talking about movie stars and all that. And anyways, all of a sudden I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I love Marky Mark. I really love Marky Mark. Anyways, next thing you know, my phone rings and I'm like, why the fuck is my phone ringing at 2 o'clock in the morning? Anyways, it was a paramedic that was on the phone, and he's like, I think you stepped on your paddle because everybody everybody on the field heard you say that you love Marky Mark. And I'm like, oh fuck. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that was good. So yes, those are my two celebrities. I don't know, there's just something about them. They're just hot, they're cute, they're adventurous, they're the bad boys. And I told my husband if we ever divorce or anything like that, like I'm gonna go marry one of them. So
Yeah,
yeah, in my
Mark
dreams. In
Wahlberg,
my dreams.
and then I don't know if you've ever seen Supernatural, but Jensen Ackles. Oof. But I got a thing for kind
Yes.
of bad
Yeah.
boys, so that's
Yeah.
my
I think most women do. I think most
oh
women do for some
I yeah,
reason.
I think so. Yeah, it's well, what can you say?
I
They're
know
kind of
you're kind of bisexual. Like what would be your girl? Who would you want?
uh back when I was younger, it was Angelina Jolie, like Tomb Raider Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
because who
Hmm.
isn't attracted to her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, ooh, let's see. I don't know, I like boobs.
Yeah. See, a
So,
lot of the movies, especially the regular movies, you don't really see a lot of naked. They're not really naked a whole lot. Mine actually is probably Kate Hudson. I've always had a
oh
crush on
yeah,
her.
good one.
Just, yeah, I don't know, there's just something about her. She's just kind of cute, especially, a few years, like 10, 15 years ago. We're all getting older, so we don't look as as spunky as we did, like, in our 20s and 30s. But yeah, she'd probably be mine. So, but Angela Jolie, yeah, she's not bad. She's not too bad. She's kind of weird now, though.
Oh yeah, no, not now. I mean, well, then she's probably great in bed because she's a freak, but Billy Bob Thornton and all that. But
Oh my God,
yeah,
Billy
no,
Bob
I don't
Thornton.
think we could get along for the 15 minutes or whatever it was to talk to each other to get naked.
Probably
But
not.
anyway, so I guess we can kind of wrap things up. That way we can get you back to your regular scheduled life. I appreciate
That means
I
I have to go to the gym.
I appreciate you coming and doing this for me. It's
No, it was fun. It's a blast. Anytime. I love chit chatting about lifestyle. Next time, maybe if you have me on, maybe I can tell you a few stories, some little,
I would love that.
absolutely.
Do you want to how about you tell us one more story before we're done? What would be your most fun adventure you've had so far in lifestyle? Like what was your favorite, most fun
Oh,
adventure?
oh gosh, I've had so many. Like I've had a couple of gangbangs. Those are pretty memorable. I guess one of my favorites was we went to Mexico. We did not go to like a lifestyle resort, but it was an open resort. So there was, couples, but there was also gay people. There was also 3 or 4 men that had a couple of wives with them, and so on and so forth. So we had a blast there. But you make your own fun, right? But
Right.
we were in the pool party. We were doing a pool. We were at a pool party, and it was actually a foam pool party, and lots of foam everywhere. As we're just walking around, and hubby and I are just like we're literally hopping around the whole pool, saying hi to everybody at the same time we're fucking.
That's
So,
funny.
but nobody can really see because you get a whole lot of foam. But I had my panties on because you can go topless, but you can't go bottomless. But anyways, I had my panties on top of my head, and every time somebody would notice them, they'd be like, "Oh my God, you're naked!" Like freak right out. It was so funny. But so we went on, like we did that, we mingled, we had fun, and then towards the end, when things were starting to die down, there was this cute brunette that she was like really beautiful, really, just something about her. So I went over. I'm not really a shy person. I'll talk to anybody, but went over and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "Hey, how are you?" And blah, blah, blah. So we kind of got a little chit chat. We chatted for about 5 minutes and I said, "What are you guys doing?" And she said, "Baby, I'll go to your room." So I'm thinking like, she really read my mind. So I'm like, fucking fine. Yes, absolutely. She said, "The only thing is I have one condition." And then I thought, well, maybe it's her husband or something. Then I'm like, oh, that's fine. hopefully he's not fucking creepy or anything like that. She says, can my girlfriend come? So I'm like, and I'm
Hell
like,
yeah.
right? So I'm like two girls, and then there's me and hubby, and I'm thinking hubby was a little bit away, so I'm like, he's fucking not gonna say no for three girls and a guy, right? So, anyways, we're sitting there with chit-chatting, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go freshen up. And she said, we'll be in your room in about 30 minutes. So we're like, okay, fine. So we get to the room, we clean up, and we're like, yeah, they're not gonna fucking show up. I swear to God, 30 seconds later, the door is on the knocking and they come in, and we had a blast. We had some fun. I played with her, I played with the other girl, Javi played with her, me and the other girl. Like it was just a whole big spontaneous fun, erotic, and it was just, I think we played for a couple of hours, and then it's like, okay, let's go get some drinks. And we went down, we had drinks, we ate supper. And every time we'd seen the resort, we'd be like, hey, how's it going? And to this day, I don't fucking remember her name. It was just spontaneous. It was just fun. And we had a blast. And she was so cute. I should have got her number though, because next thing you know, I think she lived in New York, I believe. I should have got her number and say, hey, let's meet up sometime, sort of thing. So, but that was one of my favorites, absolutely
Oh.
favorites. But
So I
yes,
want to
definitely have us another time.
I will. I will
I
have
love
you
that.
on another time, and hopefully next time we can have Curvy on as well. I want to
Yes.
thank you, and I want to remind everybody to go and check out Hot Wife Chat on X. There are plenty of past episodes. I know the ladies are taking a little bit of a break in between, maybe, and I know that Curvy was telling me that you guys were trying to get your episodes downloaded and then be able to publish them so people can read that or listen to them on Spotify and everything.
Yes,
So that
that's her goal.
that will be really exciting, and I hope everybody
Yeah,
looks forward to that. And as soon
absolutely.
as that happens, I will make sure to get that link out to everybody. But in the meantime, if you want to check out any of my social media, I will have a link to one of the most recent Hot Wife chats, and then you can follow it from there and find some more. So
Fine, fine, fine. Thanks so much, May.
thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.
Have a good day and stay sexy.
You too. Bye.
Thanks.
So that's all for us today. I want to remind everybody to subscribe and check out my social media for more inappropriate shenanigans. I have X, Reddit, and Instagram, as well as FetLife, Facebook, and a website. That link and those to my social media will be in the podcast description. You'd be my hero for real if you'd check out my social media pages, put a review on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen, or share my podcast with your other inappropriate friends. So, if you had a good time with me today, and I'm always a good time, please subscribe so you don't miss out on a single riveting story, shocking confession, or just something dirty and funny. I love hearing your feedback, so feel free to message me on any of my social media. Thanks, and remember, if you can be Batman, always be Batman.